Ba, ba, bum, bum, bum. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Azagai here, bringing to you the 10th day of our APAC regional tournament. This is the second semi-finals. We'll get to see who is going to face off against SKT in the finals to decide who is the champion of the APAC region, and I believe both of them will get a chance of being crowned the Eastern Conquerors. But nevertheless, we have YYY versus APAC today, and I am sure they will show us some exciting stuff. Now, Kickban. Interesting Kickban. YYY rolled a 4. AP rolled a 3. That means YYY first pick. YYY banned Daiso. Interesting that Daiso is getting banned, because, honestly, I don't usually see a Daiso in CBL, but it's very interesting. AP bans Wolfort, and that is a very interesting pick. Wolfort, fairly popular. Heilongfjord, fairly popular. We see those two very often. Current Castle is probably the third pick, I would say, that we get to see quite often, but not as often here on the APAC side. I think it's more popular on the Americas and European side. But we also have Bailu, otherwise known as White Elk Port, otherwise the newer version of it. So we'll get to see at least 3 battles. Well, really depends what's going to happen. But I really do hope that we get to see some exciting things. AP did surprise me. YYY. We're going to see if they can hold up to the surprises that the performance of AP. But nevertheless, we have our bans as well. Very interesting to see that it's mostly infantry bans, but there are still some special bans. YYY bans out Sunwood Phalanx, Madao Halberdiers, Shenji Grenadiers. They safe pick Zychelium Militia. Zychelium Militia, oh man, they wreak havoc every single CBL ever since they've been introduced. Cypernarioid and Zychelium Militia have both been extraordinarily important. Matalators, the Falconetti Gunners, not so much. But AP here actually bans out Halberdier Sergeants and the Falconetti Gunners. Again, Falconetti Gunners is kind of strange. No, it's not a usual thing, considering that their impact is actually quite low. They ban out Halberdiers as well, and safe pick Imperial Pike Guard. So, wow. Just in its entirety, we have Phalanx, Madaus, Halberdiers, and Halberdier Sergeants all banned. But not a single cavalry has been banned. This makes me very worried when we get to see in-game. I am interested to see how teams are going to be able to handle cavalry without some of the major best-in-slot options. Imperial Pike Guard are great. They're better against infantry, though. The mass amount of cavalry is just not going to care about a single Imperial Pike March. And Halberdiers weren't doing that great either. So I hope you guys are excited for this battle. But I'm expecting a lot of cavalry. Infantry-wise, I would be surprised if either team went heavy infantry. Current Castle has to be, which easily means that you can burst through the gate, go to B, rush to the base. White Elk Port, all the points are on the ground. You don't even need to go through a ground phase. Burst straight through the front gate. Go through it, straight through the broken walls, either on the left or the right, with cavalry. Kill everyone in your way, take the A point. Easy. I don't think we're going to have a situation where there's just only cavalry, but I'm expecting it. Nevertheless, we are heading on to Kuruk Castle with YYY attacking. Now, straight off the bat, it does look like there's a little bit of consensus that the pike of choice to make up is Forteracio. Forteracios are not particularly great because they turn, and the turn rate is quite, how to say, egregious. It's one of their most limiting factors. Now, interestingly enough, YYY also picks out some heavy infantry, which I didn't expect infantry to be so popular right now. I'm expecting the cavalry to definitely go a little bit out of control. We've got plenty. We got camels coming out. Hang on. One camel lancers. We got three, four, five companions for YYY. Three, by the looks of it, three Zwanji heavy cavalry is coming out from AP, and I'm worried that YYY will not be able to handle the just the units that are coming out from AP. It's also great to see some unused units as well. We've got a lot of Pike Militia, which is one of the most interesting things that... Oh, cool. G is to scroll. Cool. So Pike Militia being chosen is one of the more interesting units that I've... Oh, wait, no, that's not Pike Militia. Well, silly me. Obviously, they wouldn't have picked Pike Militia. It's a little bit of a mix. A little bit of a mix. Mostly YYY brought the Rattan Pikemen here. Straight away, YYY makes easy work of the natural artillery. Does look like one of the members from YYY has disconnected. That's very unfortunate. This also means that he has accumulated a death. One of the more tragic scenarios. But hopefully they can recover. It is barely started, and any deaths is very important in the CBL. You can only die 3 times. Siege towers are fairly untouched, but I'm just wondering where's all this artillery. We've got 3 culverins here, and 3 more culverins. Interesting positions. I think I've seen this before, but this was in the HLL, and they had war rockets and stuff shooting towards the wall. Brutal. Smacks right on top of those Rattan pikemen. Have seen this position before. Great to bombard the bottom of the stairs. If you had your Siphonarios out, that would have been very painful. We do have some interesting shirt diners and rattan marksmen coming out for, well, in reserve for AP. Be interesting to see when they get deployed. Down goes the middle siege tower. Now, it is interesting, to say the very least. Sorry. They let the right-hand siege tower up. Another member from... Surprisingly, a member from YYY eats the gets killed here. Wondering what exactly how he died. Sacrifice quite a bit of artillery to destroy those siege towers. Now, one of the most important things here is that this siege tower is actually not really contested. You can still walk up here. The only problem is if you're getting squeezed. Not really getting squeezed since there's no threat all the way up here as well. I don't even think any units are on the stairs. So AP still has a good avenue to set up. I think they could easily set up here on this section. It's going to be a wonder. Treb goes on to the culverin here, but oh, actually does land. Well done. I do think it's a fair trade. Whoa, what is this? I think YYY was sneaking about. Had a spear touch the B point. But it does look like they're keeping an eye on it. Oh! Spear try to catches the mole, but the mole is out of there. With the front gate broken down. Probably been for a while now. Got a lot of Iron Caps Spearmen. Oh no, wait, that's ISGs. This is Iron Cap Spearmen. Fortunately, they literally have the same symbol, except for the fact that they have a different color. So it's annoying when you don't know what tier it is, but they have the exact same symbol. Alrighty. This left-hand siege tower does make it towards the wall. Ooh, another Treb. Honestly, I'd take that. I'd take that for sure. Easily trade off a artillery piece for a Treb. An artillery piece only has so much effectiveness, but a Treb, my goodness, that is 8 fireballs of death. Each one is pain, especially here on the wall section. Now, easily coming up the left-hand siege tower, I do think AP might not defend the A point and do a full retreat, which is happening. Now, it would be ill-advised for YYY to waste any more resources. They have plenty of resources, though. 18 artilleries. 18 artilleries and 8 Trebs left. They did put down 3 and started a bombardment. But with a full retreat out from AP, most of that artillery is going to be wasted. They did take a few hits, but I don't think anything died, interestingly enough. Well, I should always do this at the beginning of the battle, but I didn't this time. So, right now, YYY has a huge investment in Tier 4 infantry. Well, Tier 4 units. Looking at that 555. Combined with the Tier 4 and the 5, we have a massive lead in terms of just unit models for YYY. And it's, oh man. 789 to 671. That's 217 unit difference. Whew. Alrighty. With the A point and the B point getting captured, does look like YYY is making no time wastage as they move straight on to assaulting this final point. I think the B point gets another 3 minutes. Whoa! 4 minutes, actually. I thought it would be 3 minutes. This final point is going to be tough. Main part is the bombardment. They already have 4 artillery. Let's see if this musket can do some work. We also have a ballista downrange. It's gonna be slow work, but that shortbow will eventually kill. Oh. Was there anything important out on the field that could have been sniped out by that longbow? Doesn't look like it. Very surprising that it looks like they're hiding their units very well here. But they're also set up. They're ready for no matter what direction they come for. Ooh, AP trying to do for a catch. But it looks like YYY is going for it. Heavy shot directly onto. Looks like they're going to try to push through the front here. I guess not. But a catch. A halfway catch, let's see. How many died? Not many, in fact. 27. 10 for Iron Cap scouts. I think that would be a fair trade. If you killed off like 2 or 3 more of the companion cavalries, I think that would have been a direct trade. Little skirmish there at the front. Muskets have one of the lowest cooldown ultimates, barring obviously the chain dart and the pike. The pike literally has a cooldown of 30 seconds, which is super annoying because they have a lot of, how to say, whoa, AP snipe someone, probably from some other side. Oh no, bam, nice shot for the finish. This is kind of brutal. Both sides are taking a little bit of damage. But I do believe that YYY is surprisingly taking a bit more damage. Goes to show that well-placed artillery, even for the defenders, can make a huge impact. We've got plenty of time left. Both sides still have plenty of units to duke it out. I think by the time it hits the 6-minute mark, the attackers might have to force an engagement soon. I would definitely think that they would want to reserve some artillery for when the fight pushes on. Surprisingly, they let the Iron Cap. I don't know what's happening right now. They just let the Iron Cap Spearmen just eat it there. A couple of the rattan marksmen just... Whoa! Looks like we gotta push into the backside. Plenty of cavalry just spawned out. This must be very terrifying for YYY. Royal Janissaries go up against the Iron Reapers, surprisingly doing very well against the Iron Reapers, trading off half of them. Out of 2 units, by the way. Royal Janissaries take a hard fight. Both units down now. We also have a front push here. This could be super deadly, but they do retreat out. Looks like we've got multiple battles on multiple fronts. ISG just taken out super easily with a cavalry charge from the Zhongxi heavy cavalry. We're getting a push now from 2 fronts. Royal Janissaries with Murmiolones pushes through the front section, while the back stairs we have... Whoa! Big hit! Taken out. Oh my goodness. Was that a musket bomb? Zhongxi heavy cavalry easily cleans up an entire infantry pile. I think YYY just got completely rocked there.
Nothing my axe can't handle.
in direct matchups right now, AP is looking very strong. That was very brutal. Losing over. Oh no. Just under? No, over 400 units. My goodness. No, just under. Just under 400 units for YYY there. Oh my goodness. Someone lost both his Iron Reapers and Lancelots in that exchange. Camels and things. That's not looking great. Surprisingly, though, I think a lot of double kills as well here. Oh, it's very hard to say. I think they're up six or 7 units. I think AP's up 6 or 7 units. This is not a really good position for YYY. The multiple battles was just not looking great. The only one that worked out well is when YYY grouped up on top of the wall. Oh man, I'm a little bit sick, so I'm going to be coughing from time to time. Whoa. Now, this is one of the painful things, is that because it's mostly infantry and you've already had a disadvantage, you have to get a good engagement. The Wu-Wei matching guards do take out most of those Iron Cap scouts, but Imperial Pike Mark walkers right over them. We have a flood of infantry just coming through. We've got a nice setup of Fortebraccios. Both sides have Fortebraccios. Unfortunately, that north section gets taken out, and Iron Reapers just walk straight into that into that pile. Don't think the Tier 4 infantry is going to be able to hold against just the sheer strength of the Tier 5 infantry. The mixture of Iron Reapers, Lancelots, and Silidars. I kept calling them Royal Janissaries this entire time. A big scrap here with cavalry, just 2 units. It looks huge because there's just so many cavalry, and the longbow does eat it. Another hard fight for YYY. They push on the attack, surprisingly managing to drag back a lot of the losses. They're wearing down, but key Tier 5 units are still out on the field. These Royal Janissaries are 21 out of 24. The remaining heroes are just flooding right in. I don't think it's wise. The counterattack from AP is just going in very...
You should know me.
Gotta be a slow push here. Not a lot of shield breakers right now. Plenty of shields though. Devez Spearmen out for the YYY. Not gonna help them very much to push through this line after line of shields. Not to mention, they're getting bombarded like crazy from just the muskets. There's not even that. There's only like 1 musket on the AP side, and it feels like they're getting hit by like 20. Royal Janissaries easily cleaned up the lower tier infantry. Probably gonna struggle. Whoa! Prefecture charge. Probably taken out quite a few of the units there, but didn't get a clean charge through that. Some friendly fire. I don't think AP really cares, as they're capable of pushing the attackers right out. Another prefecture charge. Wow, the damage is unreal. I think 3 of them touched the longsword, and he almost died. If it wasn't for that 1 second, he would have died for sure. Still struggling to stay alive, but here he goes to the die now. Pike as well. Whoa, we have a Nodachi out on the field. Boom! Unfortunately, not a lot of damage.
Ashes to ashes, dust to
Heroes are being
dust.
hunted down in the last few seconds of the battle. I do think it's going to be a tough ride for YYY. AP definitely has this in the bag. A good performance out from YYY. That second assault did much better than their first one. The problem is that first one was such a devastating loss, and I'm pretty sure it was mostly down to the cavalry. The cavalry coming in, the Zhuangzi heavy cavalry definitely making a complete mess out of all of the infantry piles. Whoa, Moonjane taking quite a few of the companion cavalries with him. Not to mention taking out a lot of rattan pikemans and half of a Fort Braccio. Good performance out from a couple of key members from AP, mostly assassinating people. We have 5 and 6. One chain dart and one pike. It goes to show that pike is very, very much a kill class, capable of kind of one-shotting the heroes. Plenty of Iron Reapers getting killed by AP here. Doesn't mean that, I mean, there were plenty of tier 4 units coming out from YYY, but doesn't mean there wasn't any tier 5 units. Whoa, 38 Lancelot Knights. That's like 2.5 squads. 2.5 units worth. I say units and units interchangeably, but I mean them in different contexts. And again, another set of companion cavalry. That's like more than a unit's worth. Unfortunately, we did see the camels come out. Not very effective though. And as to be expected, the musket grabs the rattan marksman handedly with a single bomb. We watch the rattans try to set up on the stairs there. Instantly gets destroyed with a single bomb. I think this is probably one of the most painful things to experience, is when your entire unit just eats it and dies. But nevertheless, range units are very dangerous if you let them be for too long. Nevertheless, every single one doing their best in order to keep up to fight here in the semi-finals will determine who's going to be the champions of the APAC. The beginning section was fairly uninteresting for over 10 minutes by the looks of it. But a lot of time wasted, nevertheless. The artillery section here was probably the most interesting, well, the most disappointing part of the assault. I think AP was really, really on ball with their positioning here. YYY just taking small fights, but not winning them. And obviously, as you can see, super heavy losses. Okay, so they lost only over 355 by the looks of it. Trading almost 2-1 there. And it just got worse with the second go, but I thought they kind of dragged it back a little bit, mostly from the fact that AP probably started running out of the higher tier units. But nevertheless, that is a pretty hard loss for YYY. AP does look to be a superior team. If I was to put my money on a team right now, I definitely think YYY would be my choice. Something completely unexpected as well. I mean, why would I mean? Sorry, AP has not been on my radar at all, and I was seriously underestimating them because they were up against houses like VN. Nomad was fun to watch. I mean, they were super fun to watch. But, yeah. I think I rated YYY, SKT, YYY, BOD as some of the best teams. Now, I'm kind of regretting that I didn't know about All Planet. But holding strong and making use of every tool making use of very important tools. One of the most, I would say, underestimated part is the cavalry. I can't stress enough how important I think it is to make sure you control the cavalry. You either have cavalry advantage or you counter the enemy's cavalry advantage. Like, I wouldn't even touch the ground unless I knew exactly where the enemy cavalry was. That first fight, I'm pretty sure the Zwanji heavy cavalry carried hard. They probably lost them in the engagement, but we didn't get to see the Zwanji heavy cavalry after that first engagement, but like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Zwanji heavy cavalry was the one carrying that fight there. Later on, definitely looked like the tier 4s do not compete against the tier 5s right now. Not even on a efficiency level. Which is really, really annoying, because you should be able to work your way around the difference by, like, concentrating on your advantages. I mean, units such as Sunway Phalanx, Madao Battalion, even Shield Maiden, they're pretty easy to deal with out of the tier 5, like infantry, you know, talking about. But when we're talking about Zweihanders, Lancelots, Iron Reapers, or Scyldars, you have to just eat it. It's just really sad. It's just really difficult to deal with infantry that are just straight up stronger than you. And not by a little bit, by like a lot. By like a lot. Interesting, though, that they would take out the halberdiers and halberdier sergeants, which are actually pretty good at dealing with higher tier units. They're definitely units that punch above. Like, they can easily deal with Iron Reapers. 2 halberdiers, or even 1 halberdier sergeant, and probably just a surf unit, just kind of just standing in front of them. Halberdier would shred a Iron Reaper. It'll take some time. Iron Reapers are tanky boys, but they would shred them. The stun-up race should be able to deal with the Royal Janissaries pretty well, but unfortunately, I think they don't have the time to deal with it. I do believe teams should be focusing on trying to, well, I mean, if you're going to go for a lot of unit advantage, I think you need to be more flexible. You need to have more available units, or a more or a setup that will give you the best advantages. Although I believe that Vortibrachers do output quite a bit of damage, it's nowhere near halberdiers or halberdier sergeants. At least like a 50 to 60% increase, at the very least, in terms of like overall damage in a single instance. Borderachos are not doing too hot. And I'm disappointed. They just don't have the firepower to really just pressure off the some of the heavy infantry. They're really great though against some of the weaker stuff, but that's because it's like, again, in same tier, Vortibrachos are actually pretty nice. But against higher tier units, Royal Janissaries and Iron Reapers will just walk through their brace because their damage is just not significant enough. I mean, even the Sunward Phalanx would struggle to deal with Iron Reapers and would deal with Iron Reapers, Lancelots. They wouldn't have a problem dealing with the Royal Janissaries purely from the fact that Royal Janissaries are extraordinarily susceptible to CC. Oh man, why do I have such an itchy nose? I haven't even gone shower yet. Alrighty, the next battle of Conqueror Castle did just start, so start the clock for 3 minutes. I am unsurprised at the adoption of the Silidars here. Can be a spectacular unit. Their damage being increased by 30%. I definitely do think that you can tell that they got a damage increase, but I don't think it was as important as the reliability. They dish out 4 of their special attacks throughout the 6-second duration. That means they attack every 1.5 seconds. Which is really strong, by the way. And in the grand scheme of things, the number of attacks is probably way more important than the actual damage of the attacks, because before you would only hit twice if you were lucky. Well, no, you would normally hit twice. I think there was a possibility of hitting a 3rd time if you were lucky. But the struggle here is, again, that 3 seconds of 40% damage reduction. They packed in so much survivability in just the first 3 seconds of the ability. So you definitely can tell that Royal Janissaries are Silidars are very front-loaded. I'm expecting them to kind of fill in a weird elite infantry role where they're not an all-rounder, but they're definitely not a shock trooper, but they'll be played like a shock trooper. They're previously, like, their previous setup was more or less a brawler type, where just fighting in the battle was, again, their best, fighting in a chaotic battle was just kind of like their best scenario, similar to like how ASAPs work. The concentration on them can simply overwhelm them, especially if they run out of their abilities. They're very easy to deal with if they don't have either of their skills. The Cover Commander is not particularly dangerous, which is sad because I used to use the Cover Commander all the time just to fight for long periods. I would only ever have to use the special skill when I'm facing up against enemy formations. Now, we are moving on to the second battle of Correct Castle, AP versus YYY, with AP attacking this time. AP did a really good job defending, and I'm expecting a really good job of attack. But let's take a look at the lineup. Quite a few heavies, indeed, from AP. They did a better job at killing heroes, but we'll see if that will carry through. Still a lot of tier 4 from YYY, but probably about equal amounts of tier 5. We got 2 shirt diners coming out from AP and Rattan marksmen. 5 muskets from YYY and 1 longbow. Going to be interesting to see how they can get the Rattan marksman online in this scenario. Not very many shields. Plenty of cavalry from both sides. Cavalry has been a bit low for the CBL, but we still see roughly 5 or more cavalry being deployed, and the companions, it's either between the companions or the Zwangia heavy cavalry, with the Ironcap scouts being used occasionally as some kind of filler pick. YYY has, the Yan Yadao has been seeing some usage when the Zwangia heavy cavalry gets banned out. It's just really upsetting that it's going to be really easy for the heroes to take out the ranged units, so it's going to be key to see how teams protect their ranged units and manage getting them online. The tools, whoa, instantly Trebs. Wow! Third dimensional chess here. How did you line that up so that you hit this one, Did you shoot it? Strange, very strange. Got him climb from AP there on the left-hand side. Nearly every single ladder has a climber right now. Except for the front. Well, except for this one. I forget how to bring up the menu. Interesting positions for the culverins. Normally you would see, if you're going to go for the middle siege tower, you would see culverins being placed here at the back line. AP actually scouts it, so they definitely know positions. Very surprising. Let's see how YYY deals with these pesky heroes in the back. Shortbow versus Nodachi as well. Wow, heavily wounded. Where'd he go? Oh, there you are.
First blood.
Down goes that ball. Who was he? Shinki. Middle siege tower does get put on the wall. Oh! Where's he going? Oh, no, Mole picked him up. Moonjay with the strike and grapple. Or the combat grapple. It's very interesting to see that... Whoa! Oh! Is he gonna die? Oh, there it is! 1 second invulnerability saves him from the imminent fall damage. Oh man, that's got to be pretty upsetting. But nevertheless, that is a 3-minute thing, so next time he gets hit, he's gonna die. Every single kill here in the CBL is extraordinarily important, and we've already lost, sorry, AP's already lost a couple of lives. 3 by the looks of it. Or am I imagining things? Jinky. Oh no, just 2. Okay, so not bad actually. I think it would be just the same amount then. Oh, that's weird. No, there he is. That was the spear. Whoa! Looks like AP Cap caught another one. Looks like they're presenting on the middle siege tower while they're pushing this right-hand one. I like how the leftover siege tower when they get destroyed is kind of presented. It's nice. It's a nice kind of thing. Why coming out here with a cavalry, easily slaughtering that Nemez pikeman. Whoa, this Wu Wei. Whoa, come on. This Wu Wei is going to eat it. Another heavy loss. Companion cavalry is here going for the front. I'm not sure what's stopping them. But nice pickup from YYY. Good pressure. Now, the B point is getting taken, but it's only just 2 heroes. YYY could easily stop it as they make it towards the point. By himself, is he going to survive long enough? Does not. Got taken out by the pike, indeed. Probably don't want to stick on the ground when cavalry is around, but that's just me. We also got some covering fire. I don't think these can shoot far enough. I think they, yeah. The disappointing thing is that even if you got a wall advantage, they don't particularly work out very well. Just too far. Oh, man, and I missed a major fight here. Starting off okay, but looks like the Iron Reaper's carrying the day. Or probably not okay at all. I don't even think they lost that many. Massive smash on the mortar front. Whoa, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mortars being deployed out here. Bombarding like crazy. Iron Reaper's the only thing here at the front now. Easily could just clean up if they just paid attention and get here on the A point. I do think YYY is looking for a mass retreat as all of their units are hobbling away. Peeking again with the companions. Whoa, Zwanji heavy cavalry goes through the front gate. There, the companion cavalry is right there. Oh, nice! Nice divert. We're going to go for the rear here. Oh, man. Another divert, but he loses 3 this time. Moonjay edging the Vortebrachos like crazy there, but good retreat. Absolute banger job from YYY. Though this trip is going to be very painful as it might eliminate the entirety of this Mermiones. Everything else has been a-okay so far. No major battle, well, there was one major battle at A, but I think it was just like 2 units of Royal Janissary. Losses for AP. Now, it's a wonder. It's a wonder what's going to be the next phase. Is AP going to do something similar to YYY? Go for some kind of wall front push through, like, you got plenty of ways to get into here. None of them are good. I think the safest pick is always the wall. The worst one, I think, is the front one. I think a strange one is the side. And obviously the back way is strangely effective at times. But just presenting themselves like this, I mean, my goodness, what is AP doing? They're just hanging back. They're using long shots to lob. They have 19 artillery available. They have plenty of resources. YYY's gonna have to be careful. Each of these units can be very powerful, and as a defenders, you need to keep any advantage you can get. I don't think the Lancelots can afford to get and take another hit if they just stand there. Oh, surprisingly, they do. Not enough direct hits to kill them, surprisingly. AP makes a move, going for the back. This will be probably a time where YYY has to react. Good position as well. I'm not sure where those Royal Janissaries are going, but they're going straight for the front there. They're going to tank quite a bit. They're only going to last for about 6 seconds with their damage resistance. Flamers there takes a bomb to the face. I'm not even sure what happened there. But right now we also have Psychelian Militia being thrown, but I'm not sure from who. So actually heavy cavalry just goes right through. Gonna swing about. Does look like one side of the infantry is cleaned up for AP. AP is moving on to the second section. Zwanji heavy cavalry gets cleaned up apparently, and the fire from the Rutan marksman keeping this supply point for YYY, but just barely. Slightly in favor of AP. The remaining Royal Janissaries and the Palace Guards surprisingly doing a bang-up job at annoying AP right now. Doesn't look like it's anything substantial on the point. Just heroes just units right now. I don't see any heroes coming out from AP. He's just delaying the respawn right now. The Rutan marksman absolutely making mincemeat out of the remaining units right now. All of the heroes are dead. The supply point is open up now. I'm going to see a massive respawn coming out from both sides as AP just goes straight in for the base point.
A walk in the park.
Companion cavalries trade, and the second companion cavalry just goes straight for the infantry, but it does look like Blue Way and the Silidars carry the day here as they push ever on forward. Zwanji heavy cavalry just clears out an entire section, killing most of the lower tier units there. That was a magical charge as they wipe out the line of infantry. AP comes in with a huge win as they stop YYY just long enough. A good effort from YYY on that attack. Just could not clear up that supply point quick enough. And definitely good job for AP keeping that pressure up. Those companion cavalry did not blink to drive themselves straight into the enemy. As you can see, we're getting still some very powerful heroes out here, killing off a lot of the enemy heroes. 7 kills for Subaway. Nevertheless, I do think YYY also has their heroes that can kill, but just the opportunity is probably a bit less. AP definitely knows, or definitely has a plan for when they engage and when they force the enemy to react, pushing the pressure onto the supply point. AP, key moments, cavalry swings through, swings around, but gets cleared up. I just think they were just on cooldown. Again, the charge from the cavalry just clearing out just so many units. At the final points, two major fights. The second one was a bit rushed, but nevertheless still in massive favor for AP. I think YYY played that engagement really, really badly because there was just no way they probably played it as best as they could, but the problem is that there was nothing to deal with that cavalry. That cavalry could have easily cleared up the entire infantry if it was just controlled a little bit better. But maybe I'm underestimating the circumstances. That Zwanzi heavy cavalry I'm just terrified of. The Rattan marksman play though, 100% immunity in the back section, shooting directly onto that supply point. Super good for YYY, making sure that they keep that advantage. But as you can see, a bit of a trade leading up to the major fight. It was just one major fight. My goodness, that fight went on for ages. But surprisingly, I thought AP would have been a little bit more deaths. I didn't think they would even out so well here. I mean, sorry, I didn't think they traded up so well, considering that they left their units to fight as they respawned. It's becoming more apparent that AP is definitely a step above YYY. Just in a front-on confrontation, the tools that AP have definitely outclasses what YYY is bringing. Maybe the timing is going to be tough for YYY. They lost both of their battles on their preferred map. I'm going to be heading on to White Elk Fort, and AP is going to be the one attacking. I definitely do think that YYY needs to change up their strategy if they want to win. The kind of skirmishing style that they did before was pretty good, really tagging a lot of units. They need to keep pressure on AP. Don't let AP set up for a devastating push. You need to slow them down at the very least, and you'll definitely need to avoid getting crushed. AP's definitely got the knack for taking advantage of the enemy because they're normally just not in a good position to deal with what AP has. And again, they don't clump up. They definitely spread out. AP tries to minimize the amount of damage by taking a lot of fights from a lot of fights in different areas. But as a whole, they still working together. I say different areas, but like they're very close together. They're like only a few meters apart. Normally, you see teams stack. So you see like 3 or 4 units right on top of each other. And there could be over 100 units in a very tight spot, and you're just like, oh my goodness. But YYY right now, AP right now, because of the Royal Janissary's nature of collision, they just spread out naturally. But what I also noticed was just how tanky the Celadars was, threw them straight at the Imperial Pike Guard that was just sitting back, and they kind of staunched the kind of approach from both the Imperial Pike Guard and the Palace Guard, wasting a lot of precious time, and not to mention abilities. I think the Imperial Pike March had to march on the Celadars there. Not particularly a bad thing, but when you do Imperial Pike March, you want to hit as many units as possible. And you also definitely want to be close enough for the follow-up Imperial Edict. Alrighty, we're moving on to the next battle between AP and YYY. AP could close this out, finishing with a White Elk Fort attack. YYY will need to win both of these White Elk battles in order to send this down to a tiebreaker if they want any hope at going to the finals. YYY has seen the light and has gone heavy cavalry, and I mean a lot. We're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9 Swansea heavy cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4, with 4 companions. There's only 4 Fortebraccios and 6 Imperial Pike Guards. You could trade a cavalry for each of those units, and you'd probably still be up, because you could deal with everything else. Now, 4 companion cavalries and 2 Swansea heavy cavalry coming out from AP could be interesting. Since this is going to be mostly a cav battle, I don't believe that the infantry is going to matter too much when the cavalry is out. And in terms of the number of cavalry, most of the infantry is just going to be bait. If the infantry can deal with the enemy pike units, whoever deals with the enemy pike units first is going to have cavalry advantage. Now, again, I did expect this. I did expect one of the teams just to go, cavalry, good. I'm just surprised that they just didn't go with the full-on Swansea heavy cavalry with companions, and then just did a full-on sally out. And I kid you not, because you could easily take advantage of just the terrain here, running all the way around, especially when this wall breaks. Just scoop up all of these guys here on the right-hand side. Making use of nearly all of the artillery here. AP masters right now, as they've taken out most of the artillery and breaking down the wall. I mean, these 2 ballistas have always been the biggest pain in my butt when I'm on this map. Is that a cauldron? Oh, it is a cauldron. I don't even think any of the trebs went in. Oh, almost died. Dude does destroy that. Gets the front gate broken down. One of the painful things is that this map used to have a bug where even if you put the push the battering ram to the front gate, it wouldn't be destroyed, because if it is open, it wouldn't get destroyed. Oh, that is annoying. I think you lost more than you gained there. Not sure why you're trying to... I'm not sure why you didn't scout out this section here. I definitely probably would have went for the Imperial Pike Guard instead of the units here. Not worth it. Nah, it's 2-0. 2-0 for AP right now. YYY's in a terrible position. This is AP's preferred map. So they are attacking right now. Got companion cavalry is moving up on the right-hand side, going through the wall break. Doesn't look like YYY is reacting to it. Probably going to give up the back supply point. All of Siege Towers does make it to the wall. Front gate is destroyed. Both of the wall breaks are open. I'm expecting YYY. I'm expecting YYY to pull off their infantry early and just go in with heavy cavalry push. Otherwise, I'd go 50-50. I'd deploy 50% of my cavalry, deal with the pikeman units, and just smash the rest. There's not very many pikeman units, and you just need to watch out where they are. If you can peel off the pikeman units, you can just send cavalry straight through. If you can peel off any of the infantry, cavalry can easily deal with them. AP gonna deploy some interesting artillery here. YYY definitely doesn't want them to put artillery in the back here. They don't particularly have very much space to move when we're talking about when we're dealing with enemy shooting you in the back. You can only move closer to the wall. It would be unwise to walk out. They might force a fight here in the back. If they're not careful as well, it looks like the hero is definitely guarding the artillery. Doing a great job. This pressure is mounting. But a counter fire from a Cauldron. Probably trading one artillery after the other here. Not very many artilleries has been used. They're trying to preserve their resources so much. Does look like AP is making the same maneuver they performed against, I forget who it was. But nevertheless, I'm expecting a hard fight. It's going to be tough for AP to start this fight when they're definitely not ready, and they're facing right into some artillery here. We already have ballistas and Cauldrons already shooting out. Why has this Cauldron not destroyed it? Surprising. Oh. Deployment of artillery is immense. Surprisingly, these guys have not eaten it. Only one of them died. Did the controller of this died? As it's just retreating, by the looks of it. Iron Reapers, unfortunately, wasn't controlled very well. I'll be honest. It is annoying to see the aggro range be that far where they walk over there. Oh, that's not very good. It's very costly to use their healing skill. I would not use them for damage, especially for range. I'd put them on melee mode. And of course, the Rattan Marksman just takes a hard L. Alrighty, we're off here. AP is moving in. A couple of YYYs comes off of the wall. Surprisingly coming through. The Zwanji Heavy Cavalry cleans up this back section infantry. Moving in. Oh, the back and forth between the two right now. And Zwanji Heavy Cavalry coming out huge for YYY, cleaning up that entire section of that vassal right now. They're coming. Where are they coming from? Holy! They were coming from outside. But the leftover The leftover pikemen dealt with one of the units really easily. And for what it's worth, the rattan marksman probably had some lasting effect. We've got the Wu Wei Mansion Guards walking in for it. Boom! Kills off the Wu Wei Mansion Guards, keeping them on the ground. But as you can see, without the Imperial Pike March, I don't even think their normal race is good enough to deal with cavalry like that. Another set of rattan marksmen. I think it would be wise for AP to go slow, wait for that cavalry. Got a lot of pikemen. Winged Assault makes it halfway through that pile. My goodness, that Fortebraccio is just getting completely cleaned up. Heavy cavalry through the back, destroyed. Look at the mass of cavalry. This is what I expected. This is what I expected to see. Zhangji heavy cavalry just going straight through the front gate, not even stopping, except against the Imperial Pike Guard. I don't expect the cavalry to carry the day by themselves, but my goodness, is the cavalry charge just so devastating. If I was AP right now, I'd be terrified. And it doesn't look good either. They still have plenty of cavalry to deal with. They also have to deal with Iron Reapers. If Iron Reapers get on top of the main infantry, whatever's left for AP, I don't think is going to be able to deal with the cavalry alone. We got 3 minutes 20 seconds. You're going to have to force the cavalry to make a mistake. Either you're going to have to protect your pikemen like your life depends on it, or you're just going to have to deal with the cavalry before they get on top of your infantry. But I'll be honest, I don't even think that's even possible. AP takes the wall, desperate to avoid the cavalry. Don't worry. I don't believe anyone could deal with PTSD, deal with cavalry PTSD after a push like that. Wow, that is quite interesting. Where was that one from? They come down onto the ground. This weird kind of corner push. Even just Corteliers makes it halfway through the infantry line here. It doesn't go for the thickest part. Got a lot of Zykilan militia. This is not great for YYY on the infantry side, but I don't expect the infantry to carry the day regardless. YYY just needs all of the Imperial Pikes to just use their abilities. The companions charge through. Even the Iron Cap scouts charge on through. Just the Fortebraccio is at the back, the last haven, but it is too much. The cavalry carries the day, but it was a costly victory. A good sacrifice from the infantry there. They waited. The cavalry waited for the perfect moment to countercharge. And I mean perfect. Every single Imperial Pike March used. That Fortebraccio was definitely not close enough either. They were at the back thinking that they might come from the rear. But realistically, they're not coming from the rear, they're coming from the front. Now, for the last 30 seconds, it does look like it's going to be a little bit of a spawn kill. Whoa, I take that back. Not even a spawn kill. We still have plenty of cavalry coming out from AP. AP could? No. It would be super, it would be super super cool if they did respawn and charge towards that front gate. But the time, just the time is not enough. Well done. Why? When you take out all of the best anti-cav units, this is what I expect. Lots of cavalry kills for AP. That's because there was a lot of cavalry that was brought. I bet a lot of the cavalry killed most... Whoa! The spear user killing most of the companion cavalries here, surprisingly. Nevertheless, I'm expecting both teams for this next battle to really love cavalry. Or someone to double down on cavalry so hard. Best of 5. We got one more battle to go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The cavalry came in clutch. But by themselves, they wouldn't have carried the day without the infantry. The thing is that you can't just roll cavalry straight into the enemy at this point. But it was basically perfect. The infantry held off long enough for to force AP to use all of their Imperial Pike Marches. The thing here is that they needed to hold and preserve their pike units. They should have known YYY had cavalry, and a lot of it. Or at least expect it. Because at that point, if you're not winning the infantry battle and you're getting cleaned up by cavalry, I would be hard pressed. To use any of my abilities on infantry. Especially if I know I was going to win that battle. You had Silidars easily eating through whatever AP had. Sorry, whatever YYY had. The only problem is that once the cavalry arrived, the cavalry came in such a force that I don't even think the 2 Imperial Pike that AP did have was enough. You needed to have your Fortebrachos on the front line. They need to be way closer to that front line. If your front line is moving forward, your pikes need to be moving forward. Because that cavalry will just go straight through your front line and only stop when it hits a pike unit. And that is terrifying. Now, I love the fact that YYY is putting up such a terrific job, because they really need another victory to send it down to a field battle. And again, the bans are majority on polearm units. We are on White Elk Fort with both of the points on the floor, on the ground, where cavalry is easily accessible. All you need to do is know where the anti-cavalry is and where they're facing. It's 2-1. It's 2-1. Thanks, Lamar. It's 2-1 in favor of AP, sorry. Oh, thanks. Thanks again. Yeah, it's 2-1 in favor of AP here. Now, I want to I like cavalry. And what it can do. I hate how it's designed, though. Because companion cavalries are fine. Companion cavalries look good, and they have a limit. It's the problem I have with charge-based cavalry, like winged hussars and those things. Similarly, Zwanji Heavy Cavalry is kind of doing the same thing, but it's a little bit different, but way more devastating. Oh, yes. Do not underestimate just token shield units. The thing I always say is, if a unit is occupied, it is a free kill. Literally. If the unit is busy dealing with something else, be it a shield unit, a whatever, it can be serfs for all I care, it is easy picking. Because it's just so easy to come around behind them, side, not even in the front. They're wasting all of their energy on the unit they're currently engaged in. They would have to be a monster unit in order to deal with you and the unit they're already fighting. I mean, you get plenty of high tier infantry units that have high hit limit anyway, so it's just like you got those units. There are units that like those exist. But just to put it very simply, like pike units, like polearm units in brace, you could throw enough units where the pike units cannot kill them fast enough, and then you're already on top of them. Alrighty. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of adaptations both teams are going to make coming into the fourth battle here. Oh, probably. I mean, it probably wasn't even that many shield units. I think they just had shield units available. Or just meat grinder units. Plenty of cavalry coming out again. AP doesn't seem to have adapted to high levels amounts of cavalry. But let's see if they can hold key choke points. Again, the defenders has quite a big advantage in choosing the exact position to fight. I'm expecting AP to have perfect movement here. Otherwise, even just the smallest mistake could mean the collapse of an entire arm of their forces, or maybe even their main force. I'm definitely expecting the cavalry to really be key for YYY's victory. In this condition, YYY can't win a direct confrontation. They know that. They already know that. YYY is desperate for victory, and they will take it in the easiest way possible. Throwing cav at the enemy, rear or flank, and if all else fails, charge from the front. I kid you not. Cavalry is so strong that charging from the front is a viable strategy. Plenty of times I have seen pike units just get overwhelmed simply by throwing cav at it. Does that mean there's no anti-cav options now? No. There are anti-cav options. There are some good ones. A lot of them are bad. But, I mean, two of the best ones have been banned. Which is very surprising. It took this long for, like, YYY to realize that, or either team to realize that they should just go all cav. I honestly, if I was on Kuruk Castle, I would have went full on bait the front gate siege tower, and then just have a bunch of surf units, or just units that I would have just thrown away, and have them just walk towards the A point, just on free attack mode. Or maybe just use an ability far away. All of the heroes just standing at the supply point, and then just spawn cavalry. And then just go straight through the front gate. The enemy would just be like, oh, okay, 3 kills, and then all of a sudden everyone's just screaming, front gate, front gate, front gate. What do you mean front gate? And they just piecemeal it down. But all of a sudden, all of this cav just gone straight through B point. Anyone going to the B point just going to get eaten up as the cavalry just rotates around. Alrighty, back onto the actual battle. Why? Whoa! Alright. Visual glitch. Alrighty, that wall break is down. I'm guessing the other wall break is down. Or near it. Front gate destroyed? Destroyed. Is one destroyed yet? Too bad I can't see the health on that one. Stock standard approach to go through the wall. Since they are using cavalry, since I have plenty of cavalry, I'd definitely be looking to open up some of these avenues, especially the back section. Don't want to waste time. We got some culverins here. They're not the best artillery to shoot infantry, but my goodness, does it hurt. I definitely make a preference towards... Whoa! Destroyed? What did it get destroyed by? Probably musket. I definitely have a preference towards higher tier units or... Whoa! Cavalry in the back picks up the shirt diners. I think that was a massive pick. They lost their siphon arrows. AP just lost their siphon arrows. That is not good. The shirt diner is fine, but my goodness, they lost a lot. When I say companion cavalries are crazy efficient, I didn't expect them to pick up. I didn't expect them to pick up that much. Maybe half of the Imperial Pike Guard, but picking up that siphon arrow definitely made their sacrifice completely worth it. I do find it really funny how fast Wu Wei Mansion Guards are when trying to attack. They have that 30% speed bonus when they activate their skill. Which makes them feel like a really fast unit, but when you're trying to run away, they're not very good at running away. Now, slowly as we go down. Whoa! The cavalry just went straight into it. I don't know why.
Blood.
We're off to a fight. Ranger heavy cavalry gets caught out. AP shooting off their cavalry really early here. But cavalry coming in at a prime moment for... Whoa! Gets caught on the forward rush here though. A second set comes through. Bypasses the entirety of forward rushers. Just the leftover cleaned up. Wow. I must say that was kind of strange.
Can't deny our
AP got cleaned up super easily there. Even the infantry battle was in favor for YYY. The timing for the cavalry just was the icing on the cake. I probably missed a lot of skirmishes, actually. Even in the back lines, it could be very important. Oh, looks like someone just died? I don't know why he was peeking. Alrighty, this could be the last stand for AP, and honestly, with the amount of cavalry that YYY has, I'm seriously looking at this as a massive deficit for. Yeah, the losses were insane. YYY barely lost anything, and AP lost. My goodness, AP lost 17 units. Only to kill 4 units from YYY. That, like, YYY is like 16 units up. Or something. No, sorry. YYY is like 13 units up. They could throw units at AP right now, and as long as they trade, even if they trade 2 to 1, I don't think they could lose. Definitely. Not only were they scattered, the battles were not protected by the cavalry. They're not watching for the cavalry. AP shot themselves in the foot by banning the 2 most powerful anti-cav units. They've shot themselves in the foot. They don't know how to deal with that cavalry right now. Not on the scale of YYY, and YYY's doing an amazing job occupying AP so that the cavalry can come in through the rear, flank, or even the front and be dealt with quite easily. And I hate this tree. Get rid of it, please. It looks lovely. It's in the way. Just men-at-arms on the back section. Yeah. These Fortebrachos are here to protect the ranged units. You need them on the front. Alrighty, we hear it. Making off to a great start. Siphonaro is burning down that bottom section. Siphonarioids shot into the air there. But the main pile of infantry, both of ISG and Iron Reapers, chewing through that pile. Zuanji Heavy Cavalry makes a move, runs straight into the Fortebrachos. Whoa! But here comes more cavalry. Just the Fortebrachos just left. Just need a good charge straight onto the Fortebrachos to finish it off. Or just use infantry to finish it off. I don't think there's anything left from AP right now. YYY literally just threw in a bunch of units and respawned with cavalry. They're straight onto the back line here, trying to delay. Got 2 heroes delaying right now. No one on the point. Can't even get in as the cavalry is just making mincemeat. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry even kills off the companions. And there we have it. YYY takes the home point. Quite handedly, if I do say so. The infantry battle wasn't too bad. The problem is that AP did not have the ability to deal with that flamer. They should have tried to draw out, like, again, the Fort Brushers were not close enough. Again, like, they need to be, you could keep them in reserve for cavalry, but your infantry line was barely holding. You needed to win that infantry fight much faster. You needed to deal with that Siphonarioids as well, or you needed to draw out the enemy. I think the biggest loss here for AP is that they tried to counter the push too early. They squished up units that loves to be on top of each other. Iron Reapers and ISG. You need to spread those units out. They're very difficult to deal with when they're on top of each other. Iron Reapers themselves loves to stack on themselves, and they're super difficult when they become a blending machine. Now, it is also apparent that the kills are very low coming out from AP, meaning that YYY is not giving them an opportunity to kill them, and YYY is definitely not trying to play the hero game because it looks like they're losing it. Nevertheless, the cavalry coming in super clutch with a double victory towards YYY. If they had, I mean, like, that's the thing. They don't, like, AP doesn't have the tools to deal with the cavalry, and they don't deploy their own tools appropriately in that set of rounds. During Kuruk Castle, they had cavalry on reserve, and they came in at a really good time. But it's just like AP wins on the infantry front really easily. But right now, it's like they're not winning on the infantry front really easily, and they're too worried about the cavalry. So when the cavalry does rock up, they've already lost. They've already traded with the infantry fight, and the pike units that are remaining are get overwhelmed by the cavalry. Like, honestly, even a slight angle difference against Fort Brashians right now, because of their slow turn speed, they will instantly get clapped. They would get clapped easily. If they're in their block formation, watch that Fort Brashio instantly die. So actually, heavy cavalry, even at a slight angle, can get right on top of Fort Brashios, and they would only lose like 2 guys. Obviously, if you run straight into the pike, like dead on frontal, you're going to die. But cavalry don't have to charge from the front all the time. And even at slight angles, like if you're at an angle of over 20 degrees, you already kind of outrange most pike units. This is just hilarious as well, because the ban on, like, this is just hilarious as well, because just like the person who banned the 2 most powerful anti-cav unit is YYY. But AP also banned out halberdiers and halberdier sergeants. These are some of the best anti-cav units you can have. Border Brashiers is basically like, I don't know. Oh, sorry. Kuruk Castle. They won on Kuruk Castle. Majority of the fight was in around the base point. But yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. Like the number of bans on like meta polearm units. If I was AP, I would seriously think about alternatives to deal with the cavalry. Pike militia, good cost-effective choice. Could also have them on the front line. Good stun on brace. Border Braccio is my least favorite pick. Yeah, they need to lock in. They need to lock in the Anicav. They needed to lock in the Anicav, but like, it's too late now. We've come down to Grassland Assault. And I would not be surprised if YYY here takes it just because of their superior cavalry usage. If I was both teams, if I was either teams, and I was fighting here on the Grassland Assault with the current pick bans, old cavalry, no joke. Camels exist. Yeah, camels get screwed over. You know how many times cavalry just hits the side of the camel, or hits the rear of the camel, or hits the camel when they're not braced, and the camels die? All the time. No. I mean, there is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 camels. And I will tell you right now, these camels are not going to do shit. They are glorified meat shields. They do not deal enough damage to kill cavalry. They can stop cavalry, but they can't kill cavalry. And because Zwanji heavy cavalry and companion cavalries, basically their attacks are CC immune, camels are not going to be useful. They're not going to be useful. Just straight up. You need something that just straight up kills cavalry. Oh yeah, camels to me are just really shit. Not a surprise. Not a surprise how many pikes for YYY. Pikes and spears for YYY. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spears. Now, what I didn't expect was AP to go for a AC push. You need to brace them. Oh, he pulled off. He pulled off from attacking. Oh, man. Orochis? That's an interesting unit. Is he on a field battle? Oh, Man-at-Arms barely holds on, and Guru Pike March barely catches that. Another set of Zwanji heavy cavalry. Charges right in. Unfortunately, didn't get a big pickup here. Oh, this is going to be a serious disappointment. I don't think AP knows how to use cavalry. Or maybe I was just underestimating AP and they taken the B point here. That A point might get taken, but going for a challenge, both sides lose like 11 of their cavalry. Gets cleaned up on both sides. Oh, Zwanji heavy cavalry. Very painful, but good thing that companions are a little bit spread out. Unfortunately, most of the companions did get taken. I don't know what direction these camels are facing, but they're facing the wrong direction. Super desperate. Like, AP is running right across the battlefield here, losing plenty of units.
放交河。
I think they should have just went for the triple.
A walk in the park.
They should have blocked up this supply point and went back to A. Just full force A. I'm telling you, camels are not the choice. Camels are meat shields. Not to mention, the Orochis are hilariously super effective against camels because it stops them from attacking, and also they heal when they deal damage. So, perfect against units that deal low amounts of damage, but has high amounts of health for you to smack. Not armor, health. Because, let's be honest, they only heal as much as they deal damage. Oh, Zwanji Heavy Cavalry gets caught here. But another Zwanji Heavy Cavalry cleans up a Iron Cap Scouts really easily.
闘志は我の地に宿る。
Easily dealt with. Those camels were nothing. AP makes a move towards the A point yet again, trying to catch that Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. Does indeed. Loses a couple of guys, but here comes another charge from the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. Oh my god, from YYY.
扬灰分雾
A
镜，
really smart move is to send someone to the base point right now. YYY could easily get some cap points for free. I don't think anyone's on the defensive.
A walk in the
They might
park.
lose the A point.
善恶既分，社稷乃定。
What do we have here? Yep, we have Wu Wei in the back of camels, going to just instantly wipe them out. AP is on the base point. YYY is on the base point.
A walk in the park.
The question is that who's going to have more points by the end of this? Because it closes in 40 seconds for AP, so they need to grab something. Both sides are just duking it out. Does look like YYY cleans them up here at the A point. The two Lancelot Knights that were at this base point does get cleaned up, but there's more cap for YYY. That means AP needs to stay on the attack, but I think they're running out of units right now. They're trying their best. YYY is just throwing units in. Prefecture Pikeman dies mostly to that Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. The Iron Cap Scouts pick them up. Now, I'll be honest. AP looking to be on the disadvantage here. I think in the current position that they are in, all in base. An all-in base. End the fight. They can't go for a triple cap. They simply don't have the units to. We're talking... Oh, man. Yeah, even just the unit selection, they're not great. They need to hold base and A. What YYY needs... Well, YYY can just sit back. But I'll be honest. If YYY can avoid a triple cap, easy. AP going for another A push. No one defending that B section. My goodness.
You should know me, my lord.
Going straight for the base point. open for a long time. Does look strong from AP here. Cleans up that companion cavalry, but Imperial Pike March walks right over that prefecture.
A walk in the park.
Where's that Wu Wei going? We need them on the front here to deal with this. Oh, never mind. Looks like the prefectures, the heavy cavalry, the Iron Cap scouts dealt with it. Oh man. 2 guys, permadeath for
天下武
3.
功出少
Holy
林，
cow, how many permadeath are we looking at?
Gossiplingers all day
1.
long. Drawing a sword, make it down. A walk in the park. Child's play.
4 to 4 permadeath right now. More cap points are getting captured as time goes on. They're trying to get this A point to open it up, but they're getting reset right now.
Walk in the park.
Just a few seconds left. Oh, man. Nah. There was no way they were going to come back. Losing the B point in that scenario, no defense point, and they're trying to grab the A point. Like, this is the thing. Like, you can't do 2 things at once, so they went all in for the capture on the A point. I think they should have forego the A point and just went straight to the base point. Yes. Massive comeback for YYY. It's very surprising. AP starts off with a super strong performance, but when cavalry is thrown into the mix, YYY pulls through massively. AP's desperate push towards the A, I'm not sure what they were planning, but the 2 times they did go, I think they were down. They magically came up when they fought for the B point, and surprisingly, it was an even fight by the end of it. I'm just unsure of how to feel about experiencing this field battle. There are some things that I'm very skeptical about. Camels. Absolutely sure. Why did you bring camels? I've never seen or heard of camels being effective. They're fast, don't get me wrong. They're faster than your pike options right now. They could come in, but they would be very specialized, and they had particular jobs and positions that I would think of. Also, straight on to base defenders. Really, you would choose them as the point defenders. I can understand why. Really effective against cavalry, but really weak against any kind of flank or rear charge. Did you see even against cavalry, the trample did no damage to the Iron Cap scouts. They even went straight through the biggest section of the Iron Cap scouts and killed nothing. Now, I don't want to discredit AP too much. They did put up a super interesting infantry fight, and I love them for their movement. They still have really cool ideas on how to move, and it's been a really long time since I've seen a field battle and a spectacular AC push. They did really good, both teams, especially YYY for the defense. I'm just upset that some of the selections of units were just strange to me. I would just bring more companions. Honestly, companions are cost effective right now. The cost effectiveness of companion cavalry is so high, I would trade into anything. Anything I could basically trade. I could trade into the Iron Cap Scouts. I could trade into Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. Like, I mean, when I say trade, I mean you can easily use the companion cavalry to deal with all of those units. One-on-one, out on an open field battle, you will lose a couple of cavalry here and there as you try to avoid some of the major abilities, but when you go in for it, you're no slouch. You're going to one-shot them. But yeah, I think AP's weakness here is cavalry. So YYY's choice on taking out both of the two most important infantry units against cavalry, and probably a mainstay for AP, would be the Sunward Phalanx and the Madao Battalion right now. But with that being said, we do have our finalists, our two finalists. SKT versus YYY, going to be on the 25th. We'll also have third place position between DOC and AP. That should be an interesting fight as well. I'm still rooting for you, I'm still rooting for you, AP. And between the finalists, I'm going to have to give it to SKT. Their performance against Doc was a bit strange. YYY doesn't give me terrible hope, a lot of hope, but their cavalry so far has been almost perfect. Almost perfect. The timing, the direction, and the setup for cavalry, in this case, looks amazing for YYY. Their infantry game is not bad. I'm not going to discredit them on the infantry game. They just was weaker than AP in this case. But still, a very strong team. I definitely do think SKT... I definitely do think that we could come down to another set of field battles. In the finals, it is a best of 7. So we get to see, maybe, a minimum... Oh, well, we'll see a minimum of 4 battles. But we could see up to 7 battles, which is going to be super interesting. I am wondering whether or not they will still keep the 2 special battles on the new map, which is the Moran's Castle. So I'm not sure. Finals should be on the 25th. Let me just double check. If it's a Sunday, it will be late. It will be later, so it'll be like 8 o'clock start. Okay, no. We'll have the third place matchup on the 18th. Oh, no. Wrong region. Oh, man. I had the thing. Where is it? I had like the whole schedule somewhere, but they don't have it announced. All right, there is actually a battle tomorrow. Third place. So we have the third place battle tomorrow at 9. Starting at 9. It is still a best of 5. Oh, they don't have a best of 7 anymore. Okay, no, best of 5 for the finals. Never mind. So on the 18th of the 8th, we're going to have the third place match. That's going to be between BOD and AP. On the 25th, next week, Sunday, we will have our finals starting at 9. And it is still the best of 5. So we only have best of 3s and best of 5s. Hi, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You missed everything. You missed everything. Yeah, it's a Saturday one. We start early. As in like 6 o'clock start. So, let me just recap for you. YYY versus AP, and I closed it, didn't I? Great. YYY versus AP. So this is all done and dusted. Like, we already know who the victor is, but I'm going to recap for Obi-Wan Kenobi here. So we had YYY versus AP, banning out Daisawa Fort, Wall Fort. YYY chooses Kuruk Castle, AP chooses White Elk Fort or Bailu. You can see the bans. Very interesting bans, by the way. I think the Phalanx and the Medal Battalions are the most interesting ones. Surprisingly, AP wins both of the Kuruk Castle ones that YYY chose. YYY wins both of the White Elk Fort battles that AP chose. And this is because they chose a lot of cavalry. Coming down to the field battle, AP takes a super aggressive approach, going for the A and the C, going for the A point, which is the safe point for YYY. Super heavy battle later, AP and YYY are gunning for their base points. In the end, they equal out. AP is down 10%, YYY is only down 6%. AP has the B point and the A point. YYY just needs to sit back and let the timer run out. But AP takes a drastic move, goes for the A point again. Not sure why, but leaving the B point. B point gets captured by YYY. They move straight on to the base point of AP, capturing it and finishing the fight. AP could not capture the A point in the meantime. YYY was able to hold them off. I think everything has been super interesting. There has been a lot of key moments where I was just out of words. A lot happens all at once, and it happens very quickly. The one thing that hurts me, I like camels, I really do, but AP, why did you bring so many camels? There was like six or seven camels from AP coming out. Oh yeah, no, sure. Camels need a buff. I mean, camels are so weak. So weak. They're tanky as, but come on, they're not that tanky. They're not that tanky. There are so many units way tankier than those guys. I think I have more trouble dealing with Myrmielones right now than camels. I mean, Myrmielones just got buffed as well. So yeah. Tomorrow we'll get to see third place, so we'll get to see BOD versus AP. So hopefully you guys can join me then at 9 o'clock. Again, very strange timing, but nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream and enjoyed the CBL. We are still, we still have 2 more days of the APAC region CBLs, but that's not even including the Eastern Champion and the international and the global champion. So there's still plenty of battles to go. I'm going to be very interested to see how they're going to battle it out for the global champion. But yes. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. But other than that, my name's Satsukai. Have a nice day. Bye for now.